always loved art ever since I was little. I actually did my first retablos when I was 7, and my first piece of furniture when I was about 12. And grew up doing art, practicing, mostly Southwest art, that type, and then I went to college and became a geologist and fell into Spanish colonial art and just decided that this is what I want to do. I want to do Spanish colonial art. And by that I mean furniture, retablos, bultos. And that's what I've been doing for the last 40, 50 years full time. Well, I've been painting all my life, but I mean full time since the early 80s, yeah. And then I switched from the Southwest style paintings to the Spanish colonial. And I started with sculpture, and then I would do 3 things. I would do sculpture for like 4 months, and then I would paint retablos for 4 months, and then I would do bultos for 4 months. And then lo and behold, the furniture just took off. So I primarily did Spanish colonial furniture. That was my main income, but I still continued to paint and do bultos. And so that took my idea of doing what I wanted to do. You know, I want to do this for so many months, and I want to do this for so many. So I ended up doing mostly just furniture. And now I'm back mostly to painting and bultos. And I still do furniture, but I'm very selective because I want to do pieces that I can take my time on, and you know, museum quality. And I want to give the client something that they'll have for generations and generations. Larry Garcia, the owner of McDonald's, came to me and he told me, I'm going to build a McDonald's across from the Culture Center, and we're going to pattern the building a little bit after that. And I want to put bultos in there. And I go, oh, you're going to put bultos in a McDonald's? And I go, that might be kind of controversial. I don't know, you know. And he goes, no, I want to do that. So I said, okay. And I go, well, what are you thinking? He goes, well, you tell me. You come. They had the building almost up, and he had the nichos already made. And he said, you come to McDonald's and you tell me what saints you think I should have. So I said, well, we got to have Our Lady of Guadalupe, because she's, you know, she's like my patron saint. Everybody can relate to her. And of course, San Pasqual, he's probably the most important one you need for. And let's do San Isidro, because this was all farming land at one time. He's a patron of farmers. And then St. Francis, because he's a patron of animals, and everybody in this area had some kind of animal. If it was a cow or a dog, cat, birds, whatever. So he said, yeah, that sounds good, let's do that. So those are the ones we did. People seemed to really like it. I was really surprised. The only complaint I ever got from Larry, who told me, is that we made that little hat for you know, the old fry hat for San Pasqual, and he said some of the little viejitos thought that was blasphemy. So he said, what are we going to do? I go, well, take it off. So I hung it over the door. I did like a little doorway painting, and I hung it on the door. And so everybody that was it. That was the only complaint. A lady from Spain brought me a little bulto of San Pasqual. And this was years and years ago. And it was the Spanish that changed his look to chubby and you know, total no beard, no, just clean shaven, so that they could differentiate between the two, because they actually looked very much the same. And San Pasqual I've been painting since I was very, very little, because I come from a family of cooks who love cooking, and they always say that if you have San Pasqual in your kitchen, your cupboards will never go empty. And so it's, you know, that was an old New Mexico thing for farmers especially, in hard times and stuff. San Pasquale's feast day is May 17th. That's my birthday. So he's my patron saint. So I did research on San Pasquale, and a lot of people, I don't know if they know, looked a whole lot like St. Francis. He was thin, he had a beard, he had a mustache, just looked like St. Francis. He was a third order Franciscan who was supposed to be working in the kitchen for St. Francis, and St. Francis would always find him out in the field with the sheep. So he's also the patron of shepherds. I'm not a very good speaker, so I think if I can spread the faith through my art, we can do that. And I have lots of people that need healing that come to me all the time. And I have a lot of referrals for, go see Roberto. Like one lady said she just was very, very lonely all the time. So I gave her a retablo of Our Lady of Solitude, because she's for lonely people. And I said, pray to her and she'll help you. So we use the saints as guides and comforters and protectors, and we pretty much, when I do some of my retablos, if I'm doing it for a person, well, I'll pray for that person the whole time I'm doing it, so they can feel the energy and hopefully get some peace and not suffer as much as what they're going through. So that's pretty much why I paint like that. My oldest son did really well in sculpture, but he didn't like it. And I wish he would have kept it up. He did very well in it. But he's a master in furniture. And my second and third sons, they're also build furniture, and they're really good at it. And my middle son, Jonathan, he's into more contemporary. So he does real contemporary artwork now and furniture. And Desmond and Robert, my oldest, they still do the Spanish colonial. I've been teaching them since they were 3. Adriana's 12 now, Liberty's 11. And I started them with finger painting. And they got pretty well known for corazones, little hearts. And that was one of the easiest things to teach them at first. And now they've pretty much developed they're grinding their own pigments. They know how to do egg tempera. They know how to do their own boards. And we have, every summer I spend, even before summer, we'll spend 4 or 5 months painting. And so we'll have classes. We'll have like drawing classes.
Well, when I was little, I always watched my grandpa paint at his shop, and I thought it was so interesting that I wanted to do it. So we started off with little hearts. He would cut out hearts for us and for me, and we would paint them red, and then I would finger paint them like with a different shade for shadowing, and we just kind of improved after that. And when I was 7, I started my first piece, which was an Our Lady of Guadalupe. And we still have it in his house today. And I just like seeing from that first piece to now how much I've improved.
Yeah, I started like a little bit after her, like maybe 2 years, but I started off with those hearts too and just improved from there.
And then we'll do studies in brushes, what brushes to use, what colors to use. You got to use the proper colors for the santos, And then this summer they'll be learning iconography. And but they're doing pretty well. They're doing very, very good. Yeah.
I love going in the summertime to go paint with them because we always come up with new ideas.
Like every other day, we would stay home and like clean and do like stuff like that, and then the next day we would go paint and then just alternate off.
He's the patron saint of the cooks and shepherds and the kitchen, and it's nice to have him in the kitchen to make sure nothing really bad happens in the kitchen and to help us make good food. That's a really big tradition that our family always has. One of our San Pascuals in the kitchen most of the time, and yeah, it just means a lot to have him there, just to watch us and help us cook and keep us safe. I guess. I want to keep it going for a long time, like through adulthood. So
Like the generation to
generation, pass it down to the generations.